In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this cute little to-do list notepad using unused pages in your Erin Condren Daily Duo Life Planner. It's pretty easy and it's really cute and super functional. It's a great way to give your old planners a little bit of new life and function. If that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you're subscribed and I'll be right back. Before we get started, if you're new here, my name is Kristen. I post functional planning videos on my channel 3 times a week. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for being here. So the stuff that we need to make our little DIY tear-off notepad is, you don't need all of this stuff. I just brought a lot of supplies to show you. So let's move these off to the side first. And you're gonna need like a paper trimmer or some way to evenly cut your paper. I have this Cricut one. You're gonna need Mod Podge. I think you can also use like Elmer's school glue, but I'm not sure. I've never tried it, but I am using Mod Podge and I have a ton of it. So I'm gonna use this foam little paintbrush here to apply that. I have just a paper towel to use to clean up messes or just to protect my work surface. We're also gonna need a couple of binder clips and some kind of cardstock, sturdy kind of backer. I have a lot of Erin Condren packaging here and little cardboard pieces, just an assortment, but you really just need one piece. And then of course I have my leftover pages from my Daily Duo. And I already cut some so I could show you. These are the pages we're gonna be working with. And essentially what I do is I cut off the top that I don't need. I cut it off right below that line for 8 a.m., the line between like 7 and 8 a.m. That cuts off the whole mini calendar, but it still leaves some room at the top so that you're not cutting it right up against that to do. And so that's basically that. I cut these off and then I cut the top off and then I cut it down the center. And what you end up with are these little strips of paper that say to do, and you've got all your to-do lines marked and then like a little notes page section. And then on the back, you end up with the schedule sheet that goes from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then your little blank thing here. So you could actually use this as the schedule still, or you can just ignore the times and use that as like scratch paper for notes or something. Either way, it's still usable, you know? So let's cut some of these pages apart and I will show you how it's done and then I will kind of speed up the rest as I go through them. So let me just show you how I do this. So I don't measure cutting off the holes here. If you have these, your pages might be ripped if you pulled them off the coil, but I uncoil my planners and then save all these unused pages. I'll link that video up here on me doing that, but so mine aren't ripped. And that gives me a nice clean edge to work with here. And so all I do is I just line it up and you can see the line where the blade goes on your cutter. And I basically just go right, I just push it and you can see the line through the holes. I just push it right until you can't see that line anymore. And then you know the blade is cutting as close to those holes as possible, right? So then you end up with a strip of this and it's, you're keeping as much of this paper as you can. Then I take my paper here and you push it up against the edge. I'm just moving the 8 a.m. There's the line right above 8 a.m. I'm getting that as close as I can to the groove where the blade is gonna go. And so I just cut that off. Okay, so now you have that cut off. And then we have this situation here. You want to cut it down the center. I've put a piece of washi tape here so that I don't have to measure every time, but basically you just want to measure what is halfway in between. And for me, that is 3 3/8 on the ruler here. So it's 3 3/8 of an inch. And so I put my washi there so I don't have to like measure it every time. I just know that if I put the edge of my paper right up against that washi, whenever I cut it, it's gonna come out like this. And the beauty of this is that on the other side, you have your to-do already there. And then you can just add it to your stack and keep going. Okay, so I am going to finish cutting all of these and get my stack of to-dos ready, and then we will move to the next step. All right, so we're done with the paper trimming. So you can see we have all of these pages now, and they stack pretty neatly on this. And then we've got like all of these little to-do list things. And then what we need to do is get out some kind of cardstock that's thick enough to use as a backer. And what I like to do is save all of the packaging from different like Erin Condren. Like we've got, these are from the sticker books. These are like, this is a snap-in dashboard thing. This was a sticker book thing. This was from sticky notes. We have a lot of the sticker books. And I just like the designs, and so I don't like to get rid of these because there's always like a little craft project I can do. This was like for a planning pack. And then if you don't have this kind of stuff that you've saved, you can easily just use, this was a Triscuits box. You could use something like this. This is a little bit thicker. I think this came out of some kind of packaging, but you can just use something like this and cut it down to the size you need. I am gonna use, I think I'm just gonna use this. I don't know. I'm thinking this is already, for this dashboard, it's already like the right, it's pretty much thin enough, and I'm gonna cut it down to the size of our paper. So you're just gonna measure what size this ended up being for you. And for me, it is the 3 3/8 wide, and we gotta pull out the big ruler here. And it is 6 3/4. I don't know, it might be a little more than that. It looks like it's 6 13/16. So let's just do the 13/16 first. There we go. Ooh, I moved it. You just gotta be careful that it stays straight up against this lip here. So now I can just throw that away. And now this is gonna be the same width that I measured here with my washi tape. So just like that, I'll cut that little strip off and throw that in the recycle pile. And now we have this little like sturdy backer. And of course you can pick one that's cuter. I just picked the solid color just because it was the smallest one, and I always like to use my smallest scraps first because I don't want to cut something bigger down that I'm not going to be able to, you know, once you cut something you can't get it back. So now that fits and it's all the same size. And now all you have to do is paint some glue on the top. So now what you want to do is get it, like tap it against the table to get all the pages towards the top, because you're probably not going to have it like perfectly even because you hand cut everything individually and they're not all being cut at the same time. And so you just want all of the pages to be like right up at the top so that they all touch the glue the same way. And you can just take some binder clips and clip it together so they stay. And then you're gonna take your glue. I don't know if you need to shake this, I just do. And so we're gonna take our glue and let's put this down just to protect the table here. Just dip your paintbrush in the glue and you're literally just going to put the glue at the top, just like this. You just want to make sure the whole top is coated. This is going to dry clear. And I like to just add a little bit extra. It's okay if you get a little bit on the front because you can kind of wipe that off and it's not going to leave too much of a mark. Just make sure you're getting the glue all the way across the top. And let's use our little paper towel here just to wipe that off the front. And you can't even see it. Like, it's not even obvious. But it's there and it will dry, and then it will be just ready to write on and tear the paper off whenever you need it. And then you have a little notepad. And it's just nice to be able to put some of this stuff to use. These planners aren't cheap, even when we get them on sale and with a coupon and stuff like that. They're not cheap, and it can kind of be like disheartening when you realize there's been like a whole month of pages you haven't used or whatever, you know? And so it is nice to be able to give it another life. This didn't take me that long, but this is gonna give me a little scratch notepad that I can just use wherever, whenever. I can keep this on my desk. I think this is perfect for how I'm currently planning this year. I am using a monthly planner and I'm doing a week on one page. And so it's nice that if there is a day that I'm busier, that I need like a bigger to-do list, I will have something like this that I can write on. And I'm not losing the functionality of having a simple monthly planner. So once this dries, I'll meet you back here and I will demonstrate how to use it. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes, less than an hour, and this has dried. I can run my finger across the top of it and it's not wet. And let's take off our binder clips and see if this worked. Well, this binder clip is rusty on the inside, so I know not to use that anymore. It left a mark on my paper. But you can see that I now have a little notepad, and the pages are all attached to my backing and to each other. So now I just have this cute little notepad, and I will just kind of show you how I intend to use it. And so, I mean, you could write today's date. We'll say it's Monday. I need to empty the dishwasher. I need to put away laundry. I need to edit this video. And I had other things to do, but they're written on my other to-do lists. So, I mean, you can see that you can just use it exactly like any other to-do list notepad. You can make a note here if you call someone and you need to write a note down or whatever, and then you can tear off your page and then you can turn it over and say, oh, at 1 p.m. I need to start the chili for dinner because it takes a while. I'm going to put chili in the Instant Pot and I need to start it like a few hours before dinner is ready. And tonight we have tennis and walking at 6 p.m. And that's about it. You could also just use this and ignore the times over here and just, maybe you need to make a grocery list and you need to get some tater tots and some soy sauce. Maybe you need some milk and a bunch of candy. You never know. Coffee. Just, how to make a list, but you can just ignore the times and use it as a list page. And then you have your to-do list on this side. You can easily take this with you. This would even fit like in your wallet. It's about the size of like a bill, like a dollar bill. So, I mean, it's really cool. I really like it. It's something that will easily fit in my planner. I can just washi tape it to the page if I need to. And then when I'm done with it, I can just toss it. And I actually got some use out of these leftover pages from my planner that I didn't use. So that's it for this video. I hope that was clear. I'm not really like that good at making tutorial videos, but I hope that was clear. If it wasn't, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments and I will try to elaborate or clarify or whatever you need. Also, what other layouts do you think we can make a cool little notepad out of? I was thinking like the compact vertical would be really cool because it's like maybe a little short notepad that was even smaller, but it would have a little line section. Of course, you could also use like dot grid pages of a notebook or just regular notebook paper. I don't know. Tell me your ideas in the comments and let me know if you think you would make something like this and if you would even use it. I know I'm going to be using it. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. If you really liked it, please consider subscribing. I post functional planning videos on my channel 3 times a week. I also like to use my planner and my supplies in interesting and different ways. So if you like that sort of thing, you'll probably like the other videos on my channel. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.